Hello and welcome. We're going to be looking at a brief tutorial here about putting a visual effects shot together. Now, the visual effects shot is going to look a little bit like this. We've got a man sitting here, and what's going to happen is he's going to wave his arms around. Actually, I'll just show you. Waves his hand across, picks up these fake blocks, and moves them around and drops them. So, this is actually a camera test for a film that's going to be shot next week, and this is basically going to be a test to see, can the visual effects actually work? Can we pull them off? And then he swings his hand and waves them around. So basically the idea is he's defragging this computer by physically moving his arms around and physically waving around, but obviously the actual screen won't be there. So the first thing we need to do is actually analyze this shot and see what problems we're going to be faced with. The first problem, which you probably won't notice on first viewing, is if you look very, very carefully, you'll notice that the shot is actually wobbling slightly. You can notice it largely here in this corner here, where the shot is sort of bouncing up and down just a little bit. Now, if we were to add an extra element, a CG element or whatever, you'll quickly notice this because that element would be rock steady and the shot wouldn't be. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I've looked over the shot a dozen times, 2 dozen times. I've just been watching over it, looking for little tiny details, because the actor, or the guy here, has an idea of what he's doing, and he's kind of gotten three sort of imaginary rows of blocks which he's grabbing from. So probably the best way to explain it is, I imagine that there's sort of 3 rows of sort of these imaginary glowing cubes that will be sitting here. You kind of get the idea. Blah 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 blah. So this is the kind of thing we've got to kind of imagine. So again, the most important thing about this first step is just looking at the shot again and again and just seeing what's happening. The camera's moving, there's quite a bit of noise, we're going to have to try and match that. Fortunately, and this is deliberately, there isn't anything that comes into shot and the blocks don't go behind his arm. We've been very deliberate about that. However, there is a later shot where we have someone sitting in front, so that's going to prove something of a challenge.